right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Scarlet Pimpernel, 1934. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 stars. I hated this flick. It's a 1934 British adventure film. There's no adventure, it's all dialogue. Directed by Harold Young and starring Leslie Howard, Merle Oberon, who made her film debut in The Private Life of Henry VIII, my son's favorite king.
Henry
The guy who likes to pig out on pheasant bone. She played Anne Boleyn in The Private Life of Henry VIII, 1933. Much better movie with Charles Laughton, in my opinion. And Raymond Massey. There's also Nigel Bruce, based on the 1905 play by Baroness Orczy and Montagu Barstow, and the classic 1905 adventure novel by Orczy. The film is about an 18th century English aristocrat played by Leslie Howard, who leads a double life, passing himself off as an effete aristocrat while engaged in a secret effort to rescue French nobles from Robespierre's reign of terror. Another murderous government thug, Robespierre. The film was produced by Alexander Korda. Name sounds familiar. I just did a review of one of his movies. I think Howard's portrayal of the title character is often considered the definitive portrayal of the role. In 1941, he played a similar role in Pimpernel Smith, but this time set in pre-World War II Germany, not Reign of Terror. In 1792, shortly before the Reign of Terror, vengeful French mobs are outraged when aristocrats are saved from death by a secret society of 20 English noblemen known as the Band of the Scarlet Pimpernel. The Scarlet Pimpernel, their mysterious leader, is Sir Percy Blakeney, played by Leslie Howard, a wealthy English baronet and friend of the Prince of Wales. This fat goofball. Sir Percy cultivates the image of a fop to conceal his identity. Not even his wife, Marguerite, a former noted French actress, suspects the truth. She discovers it later, though. Citizen Chauvelin, played by Raymond Massey, the newly appointed French ambassador to England, discovered that Armand Saint-Just, Marguerite's brother, is one of the Scarlet Pimpernel's agents. Ooh. Send him to the guillotine. Chauvelin orders Armand's arrest and uses the threat of his execution to force Marguerite, played by Merle Oberon, showing off her cleavage, into helping him discover the identity of the Pimpernel. He has discovered that his quarry will be a forthcoming ball. At the ball, Marguerite intercepts a message stating that the Pimpernel will be in the library at midnight. She passes the information along to Chauvelin, who goes to the library to find Blakeney apparently asleep. While waiting, Chauvelin falls asleep, and when he wakes up, he finds a message from the Pimpernel mocking him. Yeah, something like, you thought you could catch me, but I'm too fast for you. The next morning, the Blakeneys travel to their house in the country. Marguerite breaks down. She tells her husband of Armand's arrest and her deal with Chauvelin. Sir Percy, though still deeply in love with his wife, had cooled to her because he learned that she had denounced a French marquis. which had led to the executions of the Marquis and his family. She reveals that the Marquis had had her imprisoned for consorting with his son. After being freed by the French Revolution, she told her friend Chauvelin, who was the one who denounced them, promising to help. Percy leaves for London. Afterward, Margaret notices a detail on the portrait of the first baronet, a ring decorated with the Pimpernel, realizing that she betrayed her own husband now. She rushes out of the room only to be presented a letter from Chauvelin announcing that he has discovered the Pimpernel's true identity as well. Racing back to London, she warns folks that Percy's life is in danger. Folks mobilizes the band to warn Percy. To lure Percy into his trap, Chauvelin has both Armand and the Count de Tournay transferred to Boulogne-sur-Mer. Despite the vigilance of Chauvelin's men, the Pimpernel frees the two men through bribery. And I don't see Karate Man. It's too early. However, one of the prison guards tells Chauvelin that the Pimpernel will be at a certain tavern that evening. Marguerite rushes there to warn Percy, only to be arrested by Chauvelin. Percy arrives at the appointed time and is met by a gloating Chauvelin. Percy distracts him long enough for Armand and the Count to board the ship, but when Chauvelin informs him that he has Margaret in custody, Percy surrenders on the condition that she be freed. He is taken away to be shot by a firing squad. Chauvelin exults at the sound of gunfire, but Percy returns to the tavern very much alive. The soldiers are, in fact, his men. So he got the firing squad to be his own men. Pretty clever trick at the end, but still not a great flick. Very boring. Too much dialogue. Alexander Korda, a Hungarian who had been born in a town not far from Baroness Orczy's farm, had recently had great success with the actor Charles Laughton in the film The Private Life of Henry VIII. So that's a movie that I just reviewed that Alexander Korda was the producer. I'll have to go back and put his name in there. So he asked Laughton to play the role of Sir Percy. When the announcement went out to the press, the reaction from the Pimpernel's many fans was negative. The pug-nosed Laughton was thought a poor choice to play the suave Sir Percy. Korda thus gave the role to Leslie Howard. So Charles Laughton could have been both the Henry VIII and the Scarlet Pimpernel. The Scarlet Pimpernel was the sixth most popular film at the British box office during 1935 to 1936. Budget of £81,000, box office of £420,000. Pretty good return on investment there. Of course, it's in black and white. I didn't watch the colorized version. All right. So I've got to... That's very strange. Do I have two in here? I do. All right. So I'm going to take my son to the park to play with his friend Robert. I'm going to try to watch another movie in the meantime. I put two of these into one envelope, and then I sealed it. Of course, it's got all my salad dressing goop all over it for my Good Eggs job. Put everything in my bag, including my salad dressing goop. All right. So I better get going. I'm saying don't check this out. Skip it. Not highly recommended. I got a lot of views for my Sahara video, like over 100. Probably from the fans of the movie. One guy said that I I must be a Trump supporter because I didn't like the Sierra movie. That doesn't make sense. That sounds like something his half sister would say. Oh no, you're a white supremacist, misogynist. Blah, blah. Anyways, that's the end of my review. Laters.